now, the show the pros watch, Inside the NFL, with your hosts Len Dawson, Nick Fonicatti, Chris Collinsworth, and Jerry Glanville.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's show. We are in the second week of the National Football League, and I do believe I see a smile on Nick Fonicatti's face because, you know, every year he's concerned about some team tying his Dolphins record and going through the season undefeated.
Come on, Len. Listen,
this
is the 25th anniversary of that wholly undefeated team, the only team in NFL history to
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Particularly me. I've been sitting here for 19 years listening to that. But at least 3 of the NFC teams bit the dust. In the first week, it was San Francisco. Last week, it was Dallas and Green Bay. The only 2 other teams that are undefeated in the NFC, Tampa Bay and Minnesota, play each other this week. So I guess you got to be concerned about the AFC.
What you got to look at is the state of Florida. Everybody in the state of Florida is undefeated.
That's Tampa Bay, that's Jacksonville, and the Miami Dolphins. The worst of the 3 teams, the Dolphins.
Well, you also got to look at the University of Miami, Florida, and Florida State. The worst of the whole bunch is still the Dolphins.
Go Gators, go Gators. But I think maybe we all agree on something, though, that the most impressive team so far this season has been Jacksonville. They have won not only with their backup quarterback, but their backup's backup quarterback, 10-2 over their last 12 games. Very impressive.
I think the reason for that, very simple. They have bookend tackles, Tony Baselli, Leon Searcy, I think 2 of the best tackles in football. Lenny, you could come out of retirement and play behind that line.
Ready. Not only that, Lenny, yeah, give him the money. But what Lenny would really like, how about their 2 wide receivers? They got Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardle. These 2 can play and get open. They make all the quarterbacks look good.
You know what else? I think they're going to get better. Why do I say that? As an expansion team, they didn't go after the players that could win right now. They went for the future, signed these young, good players to long-term contracts. Now, when they sign a new deal with the networks, that means the salary cap should go up, means they can stockpile more good players. They're only going to get better.
You know, Lenny, but one of the products of the salary cap seems to be that teams have ignored their offensive line. That was certainly not true of the big 3 in the AFC. Jacksonville, Nick, you talked about that situation. Zephros Moss added to the offensive line in New England. And, of course, the Denver Broncos just picked up Gary Zimmerman, got him out of retirement. So the big 3 in the AFC look very, very solid indeed.
Better worry about Jacksonville because they have a bye this week, so they're going to be undefeated. You know, the beauty of this show is that we have the opportunity to put a microphone on a player in the middle of the action and listen to what happens on the field. This week, it's Atlanta's outstanding running back Jamal Anderson in his game against Carolina.
You look thin. You look like you lost a few pounds. Dang.
Yeah, I just got back up to 260.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't lose too much now. You get too light, I'm going to have to go through you.
Last Sunday, Jamal Anderson tested the Carolina Panthers' muscle and mind.
All right. Woo, I like it. Now, you know I got you that last play. Oh, I bucked your ass.
Words and blows were freely exchanged. But when quarterback Chris Chandler was forced from the game, Atlanta's Billy Joe Tolliver tried to rally the Falcons' offense.
Speed run. 16 bow. X and Y corner. Wing sweep on one-on-one.
Carolina's defense frustrated the Falcons, who never scored a touchdown.
Happy day, little man.
Happy day. Turn your ass up. You ain't tackled nobody yet. Stop, push your bitch ass.
Atlanta's futility came to a head in the game's final seconds when, tied at 6-all, the Falcons were unable to stop the Panthers with a game on the line.
18 seconds left. Second down, 3 from the 26 of Atlanta. Berline's going to throw again. Believe that or not. Diving catch. Oh, he stayed in bounds. The clock's still running. She got time to down it. They got it up there.
I'm speechless.
6 seconds. 5 seconds. Berline with 3. Gets the snap. Downs it with 1 second. Oh, unbelievable play there. 1 second on the clock. And John Casey will come on and try to win it.
We deserve the boos. Goodness gracious, I'm booing us.
For the win. There's only 1 second on the clock. Snap, placement, kick on the way by John Casey, and it is good! Casey wins it! As time expires, the Panthers rally to beat the Falcons, and we've got a win in 97.
The traditional Chiefs-Raiders rivalry has recently been one-sided. Kansas City had won 13 out of 15 contests dating back to 1990. But it was the Raiders who were on top after a third-quarter strike to Ricky Dudley. With the Raiders leading by 14 in the third quarter, the Chiefs managed to get back on track.
Jeff George wants to pass. Now he's going to shove it away. It's going to be intercepted. Intercepted by Darren Anderson. His second career interception. He's going to go all the way for a touchdown. Jeff George just flipped it to Darren Anderson, who will go all the way 55 yards for a touchdown.
Jeff George's underhanded methods brought the Chiefs within 5 points late in the fourth quarter. And long after many Monday night viewers had gone to bed, Elvis Gerbach began an 80-yard drive to the end zone. With 11 seconds remaining, Gerbach looked to complete the comeback.
He has the ball at the Oakland 32-yard line. Grunhard snaps it to Elvis Gerbach. Back into the pocket. Rush from the outside. Gerbach throwing for the end zone. Got it. He's got a touchdown! 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 Kansas City! Touchdown! Andre Rison! Monday night Kansas City Magic has struck again!
Despite new faces like Elvis Gerbach and Andre Rison, the Chiefs managed to keep their winning tradition over the Raiders alive and hope to carry this momentum into this week's game versus the Bills. Any heat emanating from the Meadowlands in recent years hasn't been generated by the Jets. They entered last Sunday's game having lost 12 straight at home. But these new Jets appeared ready to end their cold streak by racing to a 10-0 lead over the Bills. While Jets fans must have thought they were dreaming, the sluggish Bills were in need of a wake-up call.
We have made more damn errors. I can't imagine how we couldn't make it on 3rd and 1. It's a matter of pride. 34 defense, the best play in our arsenal, and we can't even make a damn yard. You tell me, and everybody says they made their block. They were a little simple.
The Bills finally sounded the alarm as Todd Collins' third quarter scoring pass to Quinn Early gave Buffalo a 21-13 lead. On the ensuing kickoff, however, Aaron Glenn left his own vapor trail on the Meadowlands turf.
Gets it off from right to left. Glenn makes the catch at the 5-yard line, moves ahead to the 20-yard line. Glenn to the 25, he's to the 30. Glenn across midfield, he's to the 40, it's a foot race. Glenn to the 30, to the 20, he's gone, down the right side. Touchdown, Jets!
The Jets' first kickoff return for a touchdown since 1986 turned the heat up on the Bills and helped New York retake a 1-point lead. Todd Collins refused to wilt, however, and connected for the go-ahead score midway through the fourth quarter.
Looking, he throws to the end zone. How do they rule a touchdown? It is a touchdown. Somehow Riemersma kept his feet in bounds and scored. What an acrobatic catch right at the sideline of the end zone.
The amazing balancing act by Jay Riemersma helped the Bills recapture a 6-point lead.
Really catch.
Great catch. Best catches I've ever seen right there, buddy. Nice one, baby. Nice, baby. Look at the toes, man. Good job.
In the end, Buffalo's tenacious defense was the difference. Bruce Smith and the Bills smothered Neil O'Donnell for 8 sacks as Buffalo's defensive stand helped the team avoid his first 0-2 start under Marv Levy.
Feels good. Feels real good. Got one down, got a bunch to go, baby.
It's going to be a long season in Indianapolis if the Colts can't learn to protect their quarterback. Indianapolis starts 2 rookies on the offensive line, including number 73 tackle Adam Meadows, and the inexperienced unit allowed 5 sacks for the second straight week. Drew Bledsoe, on the other hand, stood tall in the Patriots' pass pocket.
Along to Bledsoe, a deep drop, going for the whole thing to the end zone. Sean Jefferson, touchdown!
Bledsoe threw for 4 touchdowns for the second straight week, and his 8 scoring passes this season have been to 8 different receivers. With their second consecutive blowout win, the Patriots are proving they can win without Bill Parcells. They'll continue to turn heads if they can win against him when they take on the Jets this week.
Well, it's showdown week in New England as the Patriots take on their former coach, Bill Parcells, and the New York Jets. And joining us on NFL Crosstalk is probably the MVP, if there is such a thing, after 2 weeks of the NFL season, Drew Bledsoe, the quarterback of the Patriots. Drew, you played in the Super Bowl last year. Is there even a little more hype for this one with Bill Parcells coming back?
Well, it's pretty crazy up here right now. You know, the fans are crazy and the media is crazy, and you know, that's something that we have to deal with because we got to focus on this game. It's a huge game, and the Jets are looking like they're going to become a power in our division. So this is a big game for us.
Drew, I don't want to beat around the bush with this question here. I'll just ask you flat out. What exactly happened with the relationship between you and Bill Parcells? Is it as simple as his getting too much credit? Was he just too tough? Exactly what happened?
Well, to be honest with you, nothing really happened. I mean, Bill and I had a good relationship. We had a good working relationship while I was here. We accomplished a lot, made it to the Super Bowl, and really what has happened is that the relationship that we had has been so dissected, and every little thing is magnified, and really that's what's happened. And now that he's gone, you know, I was sorry to see him leave, but we're moving on. We're into the Pete Carroll era now, and I feel like we can be even more successful than we were in the past.
Hey, Drew, everybody's talking about Bill Parcells going back to New England, but I think people forget that Pete Carroll was fired after the 1994 season by the Jets. Is this a get-even game for him?
You know, I think there's probably definitely that feeling for Pete. You know, I haven't talked to him about it, obviously, but there's more to this game than just the Bill Parcells story. You know, Pete's got some incentive there, and then we've got some huge incentive because now we're definitely a target. We've played well the first 2 weeks, and because of that, we're a team that everybody's going to be gunning for.
You know, Sean Jefferson was saying that the difference this year over last year was Pete Carroll puts in an offensive game plan, he gives it to you guys, and he says, now go out there and do what you do best. How does that differ than Bill Parcells' game plan?
You know, it's not all that different. You know, last year, you know, well, go back historically. When I came to the Patriots, everybody talked about we're going to run the ball, and I'm going to throw it 15 times a game, and that's it. Came in, and then the last 3 years threw it more than anybody in the league. So when Bill was here, we'd do whatever it took to win, and now we're in the same mode. You know, if it takes running the ball with Curtis Martin 40 times to win a ball game, we'll do that. If it takes throwing it 60 to win it, we'll do that. So it's really not all that different now, you know, from what it was before.
Drew, when I look at a quarterback, I always like to look into their eyes. To me, it just tells me whether or not a guy has confidence or not. You know, last year when I saw you playing, I'll be very candid, I saw a little fear in your eyes. This year, for the first 2 ball games, I see a much different Drew Bledsoe, a much more confident Drew Bledsoe, much more assertive, much more outspoken. Can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, I don't know necessarily what you saw last year, but I do know that where we are right now, I'm very confident in the guys that are around me. I'm getting better protection than just about anybody in the league. You know, I'm sitting here right now after 2 games without a bruise on my body. I've got some great weapons to go to, and you know, I have the confidence that if I put the ball up there, they're going to come down with it. And when you're surrounded by a cast like I am, it's very easy to be confident and play the game at a high level.
Drew, we appreciate you taking some time to be with us and handling a few tough questions here. Good luck this week.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And now we move from inside the stadium at Foxborough to outside with our own Gary Myers. And Gary, you've had a chance to visit with some of the Patriot players this week. What's the mood of the locker room?
Well, Chris, you know, I've been here for a couple of days, and really one of the central themes that you keep hearing is that the Patriots feel their accomplishments last year of getting to the Super Bowl were overshadowed, one, by Parcells, and secondly, by his ongoing job situation where all the speculation about him leaving. And they feel it wasn't fair that they weren't given the credit they deserved. And Sunday night gives them their first opportunity to prove that they can win without Bill Parcells.
You know, Bill Parcells and Bob Kraft this week have been trying to put a happy face on this whole situation, but you know as well as I do that that was not a very nice place to be a season ago. Those 2 guys really didn't get along.
Yeah, and the week before the game, they're really not saying very much about each other. Kraft acknowledged, you know, they really liked Bill. He had some good times with him, but everybody has to move on. You know, Parcells really hasn't spoken about Bob Kraft at all this week, but in the off season when Bill did not have his game face on, you know, I said to him, what about the idea that Bob Kraft said he wanted you back in 1997? He acknowledged that Kraft said that. He said he never got that feeling from him and thought Kraft was really just saying that because it was the right thing to say.
Gary, do the Patriot players feel like that either team has the advantage with Bill Parcells coming back to town?
You know, Chris, I really think there's some genuine concern on the part of the Patriot players that Parcells knows the personnel so well that he knows all their strengths and weaknesses and will be able to take advantage of that on Sunday night. But if you talk about the emotional issue, there's no question it's on the side of the Patriots. You know, like we talked before, they really want to prove they can win without Parcells. And here's been one of the things that's been going around New England this week. It's really been the talk of New England this game Sunday night, and I think it's really going to be a crazy night here at Foxborough Stadium.
All right, Nick, now it's time to pick this game this week. Your old team, the Patriots. Who do you like?
Well, this is, I think, part of the show where we have our celebrity pick of the week.
Oh, what does your cleaning lady say?
Remember last week we had Rush Limbaugh. This week I had a chance to consult with Regis Philbin. We flew out to Notre Dame to see that ball game. This is how we feel it's going to go. Hugh Douglas is banged up. He may play, but he won't be in full effect. Bledsoe will have 4 to 5 seconds to throw the football. He will victimize the cornerbacks Aaron Glenn and Otis Smith with Sean Jefferson and Vincent Brisby, and the Patriots will win easily.
You are something. You know that, don't you? I agree with you, though. I like the Patriots this week as well, more because the problems that the Jets are having on that offensive line. We all know about the 8 sacks that the Buffalo Bills got a week ago, but they really never got their running game going in the ball game either. Adrian Morrell for the Jets averaged less than 2 yards per carry. Just don't have enough offensive weapons. I like the Patriots. Lenny, who does your wife like in this game?
What does my wife think about this game? You think I'd listen to her? If I listened to Linda, I would win the pick segment. I do this all on my own. Let's talk about the Jets. You know, their quarterback, Neil O'Donnell, sacked 8 times last week against the Buffalo Bills. He should be concerned about the Patriots' defense. They've given up 13 points. They've sacked the quarterback 10 times in 2 ball games. They've done it without the services of their best pass rusher, Willie McGinnis. He is available this week. I like the Patriots very much.
You know what? I like sitting next to you. Boy, I got next to the star of this show. Let me tell you, the New England Patriots are undefeated, but guess what? Their offense is out of balance. It's pass, 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 and they use Curtis Martin only when the game is over. I think what they like to do against their old coach, Bill Parcells, is pound the ball early. I look for more balance, more Curtis Martin, and I'm going with the Patriots, too.
And guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, we all agree, even Jerry. All right. Patriots lead the NFL in passing yards, and the team that is 3rd in the league, Baltimore, is coming off a very impressive victory over Cincinnati.
The Colt Marching Band's 50th anniversary. Back with Fred and Gus on trombone and twirlers Blanche and Hazel. But it was Jeff Blake and Carl Pickens who hit the high notes early. The band used to strike it up for running back Alan Amici. On Sunday, it was newcomer Jay Graham who was the horse, and he galloped in for the lead.
Ravens with a chance to take the lead. 10-6, Graham straight ahead. Got some room. Is the rookie in? Touchdown! Jay Graham!
Johnny U and Big John Mackey were an unforgettable combo back then. And against the Bengals, it was Vinny T and Eric Green who not only brought back memories, but brought down the house in the Ravens' first win of the season. While Baltimore celebrated its past, Jacksonville waved goodbye to the past. They won the old-fashioned way by pounding the ball right through Big Blue. Natron Means and number 33 James Stewart each rushed for 2 touchdowns, and the way the Giants tackled, Jimmy Stewart could have scored a couple too.
Matthews under center. Dave Wydell turns, gives Natron running to the left, bounces it outside. Here he goes to the touchdown. Jaguars!
It hasn't been by any means a wonderful life for the Bears so far. Yet Eric Kramer found a reason to smile early on against Minnesota when he fired a pair of touchdown passes to give Chicago the lead. The Monsters were rolling until disaster struck midway through the 3rd quarter.
Snap to him, offset I formation. Jennings, the tight end in motion, handoff Rashaan Salam, and a fumbled football into the arms of a Viking. On the way, it is Orlando Thomas at the 5. Touchdown, Vikings.
The Vikings made big plays on both sides of the ball, especially Jake Reed, who caught 12 passes for 118 yards and a go-ahead touchdown. Trailing in the 4th quarter, the Bears needed a big play of their own, and they got just that from Raymond Harris, who ripped off his second 50-yard-plus TD run of the season. this game, leads seemed to vanish in the wink of an eye, and in the final minutes, the Vikes launched a last-gasp drive. A drive highlighted by 3 clutch catches by All-Pro Chris Carter, and finished off not by Carter and not by Reed, but by an unlikely hero.
Carter and Reed, wide right, back goes Johnson, throws, Chris Walls, touchdown, Vikings! Walls puts them ahead at the late stages of the game. He comes through on a throw from Johnson, and he is ecstatic.
In a classic division battle, Minnesota prevailed. And in another Central showdown, this fan embodied the black and blue meanness of Nitschke, Eller, Night Train, and Butkus. But today, the face of the Central has changed. Gone are the days of 3 yards in a cloud of dust on the frozen tundra. Now it's 73 yards and a jet stream across hot AstroTurf.
Play fake, Mitchell flexed up in the pocket, fires long downfield, tip, grabbed it, 40-30. What a grab by Johnny Morton off a tip ball. 73 yards. He kept his vision on the football after it had been deflected, and it goes for the touchdown.
The NFC Central was the home of toothless defenders. Now it's the home of hopeless defenders because it's the home of Barry Sanders.
Barry's got it at the 40, dodges tacklers, left side run to the 45 to midfield. For the 40, Barry stops, starts 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Holy
The little man has wowed him in the Dome for years, but last Sunday, Barry was outdone by Warwick Dunn. The 5'8", 180-pound rookie outrushed him 130 yards to 20, carrying the Bucs to their first 2-0 start since 1992.
Buccaneers trying to win in Detroit for the first time since '93. Here's the snap. Handoff to Dunn, runs left up the middle. Warwick Dunn, touchdown, Tampa Bay!
This week, Warwick will see what he can get done up in Minnesota in a showdown for the division lead. Coming up on HBO's Inside the NFL, Green Bay has kicked off the unbeaten ranks as their field goal attempt fails. And a look back at former Baltimore Colts running back Lydell Mitchell.
We just saw a very happy Warwick Dunn, but he's not as happy as the Tampa Bay Brain Trust, who chose the running back with the 12th pick in the draft. Nicole Watson has his story.
Most have heard of 5'7" 176-pound Tampa Bay rookie Warwick Dunn. But what you may not know is that he almost stopped playing football. Tragically, 4 years ago, just before signing his letter of intent to play for Florida State, Dunn's mother, a police officer in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, was shot and killed. In one night, the person who was his mentor, hero, and inspiration was taken away.
We were as one in a sense where she can feel what I was feeling, and I can feel what she was feeling, and she was that added edge that I needed, and she pushed me to be the best that I can be. And when my mom died, it was time for me to grow up and become a young man before I was ready to become a young man, but I just had to look at it in that sense and just move forward.
The oldest of 5 siblings, Dunn was immediately thrust into a paternal role. But he knew that his mom wanted him to go to FSU. With a watchful eye in Baton Rouge, he went on to pursue his dreams in Tallahassee.
I fell in love with him, and then when we signed him and signed all, he's the only kid I wrote a letter to and said, son, I'm going to take care of you. When you come to Florida State, I'm going to be like your daddy. And I don't usually write that letter. There was something about him that made you want him.
At FSU, Dunn established himself as the school's finest running back. In his 4 years there, he recorded an amazing 49 touchdowns, which was something that piqued Tampa Bay's interest.
We interviewed him actually at the scouting combine in Indianapolis. And the last moment, I asked him a question. I said, you know, with all the talents that you have, what do you think is the best thing you do on the football field? And he thought for a long time, and he wanted to be honest, but he didn't want to be cocky. And he said, well, actually, Coach, the best thing I do is score touchdowns. And I said, that's what we need.
Tony Dungy says the Florida State sensation was brought in to complement the existing offense, to take the load off, but not to carry it. He compassionately describes his rookie running back as special. You see, Warrick possesses the things that cannot be taught or acquired. What Warrick Dunn has are the innate qualities of courage, desire, and heart.
I do have heart in a sense. To say I'm a little guy out there. I do have heart to go in there and just play free. Some people underestimate me because of my size, and so what? I know deep down inside what I am and the things I've overcome, but I'm a survivor. I'm a trooper. In my eyes, I'm a winner.
For now, Dunn has had one good week, but he understands that one moment in time doesn't make a career. However, Bobby Bowden says that his star potential isn't a fluke.
If all kids were like him, coaching would be a snap. His character is excellent. He's self-motivated, and yet he's so quiet and nearly shy that you don't realize that all that self-motivation is there.
Warrick's mom, Betty Smothers, instilled character and confidence in her son at an early age. Those lessons have guided him in life as well as on the field.
She's definitely my angel. When someone leaves the earth, sometimes you feel where they're going, they're not going to ever be back, or you can't feel them, and that's not so. I mean, even though she may have died in Louisiana, she's been in Florida with me forever, and her spirit's everywhere. Her spirit's still in Florida right now. I mean, Louisiana right now, looking over my brothers and sisters. So she's around protecting the people that she loves the most.
While NFL defenses are keeping an eye on Dunn, he's not concerned. You see, Warrick believes there's someone special watching over him.
I can understand why Warrick Dunn has had so much success early on in his professional career, because this young man has had to overcome adversity and responsibility at a very young age. And he is accustomed to winning, but something's got to give this week, because the other undefeated team in the NFC, Minnesota, will be hosting Tampa Bay.
You know, Lenny, the thing that makes Warrick Dunn so impressive is he's a tiny guy, 5'8", under 180 pounds, and the rap on him coming out of Florida State was that he was just simply too small. He couldn't take the pounding in the National Football League. But all the yards that he made last week were between the tackles. And this week he gets a chance to go up against that Minnesota Viking defense that didn't stop the run last year. And so far this year they've been giving up over 6 yards per carry in each of their first 2 games. I like Tampa Bay in an upset.
I'll tell you, Chris, so if I'm the Minnesota defense, I want to know, is Trent Dilfer a real NFL quarterback? I am not going to give Dunn and Allstott an opportunity to have those lanes and run a football like they did last week against Detroit. Listen, Trent Dilfer has completed 30 passes in the league, but his leading receiver only has 4 receptions. To me, that does not show me that he's an NFL quarterback. I'm going to put up an 8-man line. You're going to have to beat me through the air, Trent. That's why I like Minnesota.
Well, Nick, you're talking about an 8-man line. Let's talk about the lines. Who wouldn't buy a ticket to watch Randall McDaniel, offensive guard for the Vikings, going against Warren Zapp off to his best season? But the difference in these two clubs, if you get down to the last drive, Brad Johnson has proven on the very last drive he can come down the field and score the winning touchdown. I'm going with the Vikings.
Well, the Vikings might not have to worry about that last drive if Robert Smith gets rolling. He's leading the NFC in rushing. But the strength of that Tampa Bay defense is that front 7. They were able to shut down Barry Sanders last week, only got 20 yards rushing. But on the other hand, the passing attack of Minnesota, it could be a field day against the weakest part of that Tampa defense, their cornerbacks. So Chris Carter and Jake Reed could have outstanding games. I like Minnesota. Tampa Bay and Minnesota could be real close. It couldn't be any closer, though, than last week's Pittsburgh-Washington game, which was decided by a single point.
Norv Turner knows that what goes up must come down. He's also well aware that when a football goes up and comes down in the hands of Brian Mitchell, number 30, the result is usually positive.
Here's the kick. We're underway for the second half. Mitchell circles underneath the ball on the near side, 3. He's going to the far side, 10. 15, he's to the 20. He's seen at the 25, 30. 35, 40, far sideline, 50. He's down to the Steeler territory, 40, 35, 30, 20. Going all the way. Touchdown, Washington Redskins, 97 yards.
Although he boasts 6 career punt return touchdowns, this was the first time that the Pro Bowl specialist had ever returned a kickoff for a score in the NFL. Washington took a 13-7 lead into the 4th quarter, but Mitchell's long-distance run was ultimately canceled out by short bursts of tough yardage by Jerome Bettis, number 36. While the bus had stalled in a loss to Dallas, he rolled over the Redskins, gaining 134 rushing yards and scoring the game-winning touchdown.
The pitch back. Here comes the bus. The bus walks into the end zone for that Steeler touchdown.
It wasn't easy, but the Steelers rebounded from their embarrassing season opener. Like Chinese water torture, the Cardinals have continually absorbed slow, steady punishment against the Cowboys. Last Sunday night, the Cards were pelted by drops once again, as they fumbled 4 times and faced a 22-7 deficit after 3 quarters. But in crunch time, Kent Graham developed a hot hand.
Graham to throw. Pumps it and throws. It's caught by Sanders. He dives. He scores!
A 47-yard reception by Rob Moore, number 85, gave Graham the opportunity to throw a touchdown pass and the game-tying 2-point conversion with 1:06 remaining.
He fakes the handoff to Sanders. He throws to the right side for Carter. He's got it. He scores!
In overtime, Kevin Butler booted the game winner.
Here's the snap. The kick is on the way. It's good. It went home.
Arizona ended a 13-game losing streak to Dallas, and another stunning upset occurred in Philadelphia.
All day, baby, all day. Come on, Mike. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
After a first-week beating in New York, the Birds ran the risk of becoming fresh meat for the defending world champs.
Sure, this is the team that we should be. The thing is, it's going to be up to us whether we're going to do it or not. Gentlemen, I don't care what you think or what you say. We got to play better than we played Monday night. We got to play better than we played Monday night all around. If we're going to get to where we need to go, people got to be hungry for this, all right? If we want to get back, we got to be hungry. And we got to dominate when we line up on this field, guys. It's all of us. It's all of us together. Let's dominate. Dominate, baby. Dominate. 1, 2, 3. Dominate.
Green Bay had to battle just to build a 6-0 halftime lead against Philadelphia's resilient defense.
Now you got to get off the ball. That's where we get your stretch. See, you turn it right, Mike. Stop playing catch-up all the time. Care now. Get in the 2-point and get back here if you have to. But get your ass back.
The Pack offense continued to sputter in the second half.
Intercepted by Hall. Hall across the 45-40, 35-30, 25-20, and all the way down to the 15. Red Hall. That is a huge play.
Trailing 9-3 in the fourth quarter, Philadelphia mounted a drive that would cover 80 yards, consume over 9 minutes, and include 19 plays. The Eagles were grinding it out and grinding the Packers down.
We are wearing a race up.
The Eagles eventually faced a 4th and goal from the 2.
Stretch solid, green left slot, 99 stretch solid. Solomon, Detmer back. Detmer throws it into the end zone. Touchdown!
But after Freddie Solomon's scoring reception with under 2 minutes remaining, Green Bay kept their hopes alive with Brett Favre's 4th and 16 28-yard hookup to number 80, Derek Mays. This was cliffhanging drama with a Hollywood gloss, and when a mere 11 seconds were left to play, all rookie Ryan Longwell had to do was kick a 28-yard field goal.
The ball is spotted. The kick is up. It's no good! He missed it! He missed it! He missed it! 11 seconds to go and the Eagles are going to win. He missed it!
Nobody gave us a chance, man. Nobody. But guys, I'm saying we don't know how good we can be. All we got to do is stay together and keep fighting. That's right. We went 4 quarters. We went 60 minutes of fighting. 60 minutes. Nobody gave up. Nobody. That's all we got to do, man. Stay together and believe in each other. Because nobody can stop us, man. We stay together. It's hard to divide us. But we got to stay together and believe in each other. We made it happen because there's a lot of guys who went out there and gave their heart. They gave their heart to the whole thing. And I love you guys, and I'm proud of you.
We got a game ball with Ray Bob. Yeah. They might say crazy. They might say tools is loose. They might say all kinds of things about him. And they don't care about him, but we care about him.
Dan Marino used to catch secondaries napping, but lately his arm has looked mighty tired. Marino is watching as a new generation of quarterbacks take over. But so far, a young guy like Steve McNair has been most effective when simply handing off to Eddie George.
George is the setback. He gets the handoff. He cuts back inside, tackle to the 5. He goes in. High stepping into the end zone, Eddie George. Cut back inside, right guard and tackle, and sprinted into the right corner of the end zone from 13 yards out.
But Marino eventually showed that he's not quite ready for nap time just yet. While he had gone 14 consecutive games without passing for over 300 yards, he compiled 324 yards against Tennessee and led the Dolphins to a come-from-behind victory that was earned in overtime.
Here is Olindo Mare. The snap is down. Mare's kick is away. Oh, yes, Olindo. The Dolphins win.
The Dolphins win enabled them to get off to a 2-0 start for the 4th straight year. Coming up on HBO's Inside the NFL, the San Francisco 49ers continue to find ways to beat the Rams and to look back at former Baltimore Colts running back Lydell Mitchell.
I guess you can say so much for benching Dan Marino. That was a big talk last week. Jimmy was considering putting him on the bench, but the psychology worked because Dan had a great day.
And let's not forget that Jimmy Johnson, when he went to the University of Arkansas, he got his degree in psychology.
You're unbelievable.
I know all that stuff.
Don't touch me either. You know, the one thing I do like, though, about Jimmy Johnson is he treats the guys that are on special teams just like the superstars. If Dan Marino's playing like a dog, he's going to hear about it, and he certainly did. But you're right, Lenny. That worked.
That's because Jimmy Johnson employs what we know as the STAR system. The better you play, the better I treat you. And Dan Marino likes good treatment.
Nobody ever said a harsh word to you then, did they? Dan Marino, that was last week. What's he going to do this week when they travel to Green Bay to take on the world champion Packers, who got beat by Philadelphia?
Yeah, if you talk about the 300-plus data Dan Marino had, he only got it when he went to the no huddle and he called his own plays. The running game went nowhere. The problem for them is they don't have receivers. O.J. McDuffie is the only receiver they have. Charles Jordan, the former Packer, short-armed a couple passes last week. You can forget him. A long day, I think, for Danny this week. I like the Packers.
Well, how about Jimmy Johnson? What does he want to do? He wants to run the football. And you look at Miami offensive line, they don't block on the run. Now they've lost Stanley Pritchard. They're pretty good blocking fullback, and they're averaging 2.8 yards a rush. Going to be a long day. In Green Bay last week, how do they lose? Antonio Freeman drops 5 passes. Yeah. He'll catch him this week. Packers do win.
I don't know who Favre is going to throw the ball to. I know who he's going to throw it at, and that is Terrell Buckley, a former Packer defensive back. You know, when they played preseason game, Nick, the first 6 passes went in the direction of Buckley. That tells me they think they can beat him. Also, Miami's first 2 games at home. Now they're at Lambeau Field. I like the Packers.
Well, you know, the Miami defense has really been playing pretty well here, and they have a pretty good blueprint to work from after that game with the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Green Bay Packers. Ray Rhodes decided, I'm not going to sit back in his zone defense, let Brett Favre pick me apart. He blitzed. He really got after Brett Favre, hit him a lot. John Michaels, the left tackle, struggled in pass protection, but Green Bay just too many offensive weapons. I like the Packers.
I think the ball is going to be placed in the air a lot on Sunday. Dan Marino and Brett Favre could hook up in a classic matchup similar to the John Elway-Warren Moon duel last week at the Kingdome.
When facing a difficult test, a cheat sheet can help add a few easy points to your score. Early on against Denver, Seattle must have been peaking.
Sinclair's got it. He fumbles. It's picked up by the Seahawks. Chad Brown. Brown's at the 5. He scores. Chad Brown, touchdown Seahawks.
A Stanford man like John Elway has no need for cheat sheets, especially with targets like Shannon Sharp. And Ed McCaffrey, who schooled rookie corner Sean Springs for 2 scores.
And that's about as easy as it comes in this league.
But these Broncos are no-class nerds. They have plenty of flash in the form of Darian Gordon.
Pass intercepted. Darian Gordon 30, 25-20. Gordon's going to walk in. Broncos touchdown.
Hand in hand, John Elway and the Broncos strode triumphantly out of the Kingdome at 2-0. While hard in hand, Southern boy Heath Shuler tried desperately to stave off an 0-2 start for the Saints. Maybe a little too hard.
Big Sweet fumbles the football. Davis scrambling and still loose. Down at the 25. Big fight for the football, still rolling into the 15. San Diego's recovered the football. Down to the goal line, and a pile in the end zone. It's still loose. No signal yet from the officials. Touchdown, San Diego.
The greeting committee had come prepared. But it was Jim Everett who struck the last volley for a winner.
Everett play action, rolling to the right to throw, go into the end zone, touchdown San Diego!
While Mike Ditka was down in the dumps, Rams fans were giddy with glee.
49ers! Go Rams! Go Rams!
The thought of facing the hated Niners without Steve Young and Jerry Rice may have given the Rams sudden confidence. But San Francisco isn't afraid of anybody head to head.
I'm disgusted. I'm appalled. Now everybody need to come out here like this is the first game, like we ain't never played a game, and like this is the last game that you're gonna play. And so give me a 2-bar. 1, 2, 3, 4.
In their previous 13 consecutive losses to the 49ers, the Rams usually helped out. That trend continued as Dick Vermeil's young squad coughed it up 4 times. The first rookie quarterback to start for the Niners since Joe Montana, Jim Druckenmiller had his moments.
Throw, has time, goes for the end zone, leaping catch, touchdown 49ers, J.J. Stokes, a spectacular play. Best catch J.J. Stokes has made in his 49er career.
Yeah, baby. There you go. That was a pretty easy read. That was the best one so far. I'm getting to like Bradley a lot more now.
Let's go. It's up to us. It's up to us.
In the end, the Rams were done in by their own ineptitude.
Back up the middle of the field, fumbles it again, and the 49ers get it, lose it, pick it up.
And by a rarity in San Francisco these days, a long touchdown run.
To the 30, breaks away. He's to the 10, he's to the 5, he's into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers.
After an opening day tale of woe, Week 2's happy ending had everyone in the Bay Area breathing a sigh of relief.
I made it a little too more, a little too interesting, didn't I? Thank you, Coach.
Thanks. And I told you that every man is going to have to contribute, right? When the whole country counted out the 49ers, we're all down in the tank, we showed them, right, William?
Yeah, we did.
We showed them.
Yeah, we did.
Now, here's the thing. Congratulations to every man in this room. It was a team victory. You know, I said we're going to, whatever it takes to win that game. Win it on the ground, win it by defense, win it a kicking game, win it ugly. However we got to win it. It was kind of ugly. We won it, though, didn't we?
Hey, we did.
Huh? It was pretty darn ugly, but we'll take it. Now, it's only a start. That's a start. It's a slow start, but it's a start. Now, every man come back tomorrow because now we go, all right? We hit the bottom, and now we're going.
On behalf of the organization bearing gifts, the game ball coach.
Kisses all around that San Francisco locker room as Steve Mariucci celebrates his first win as head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. But his problem's far from over, especially concerning one Steve Young. Let's bring our own Gary Myers back in for some more inside information here. Gary, what's going on with Steve Young? Is he going to be able to play?
Well, Chris, doctors have cleared him to play this week. You know, one of the interesting things is that Steve is supposed to make $10 million next year, but if he is forced to retire because of a career-ending injury this year, that money is not guaranteed. He would not get that money. But Steve has taken out a $3 million insurance policy to protect at least part of that money next year.
You know, Gary, Warrick Dunn has been playing so well for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that Eric Rhett has been forced to the bench, and certainly he's a guy capable of playing in this league. What's going on with his situation?
Well, not only hasn't he carried the ball in either of the first 2 games, he hasn't even left the sidelines. You know, Chris, when I spoke to Tony Dungy this week, he said before the season opener, he went to Rhett and told him that Warrick Dunn would be the starter and that Rhett's carries would be severely reduced. He asked Rhett whether he can handle the situation or maybe they would work something out for him in a trade. Rhett told him he wanted to stay in Tampa, and Dungy has said he intends to get Rhett some carries right away.
Well, Gary, this is also the week that Jeff George goes back to Atlanta and the scene of the crime, if you will. What sort of reception can he expect?
Well, his coming back home really hasn't evoked much of a response from the fans because as of late in the week, there was still 30,000 tickets left. You know, Jeff George has said his problem was never with June Jones, that after that blow-up, he settled things right after the game. In the time since then, they've remained good friends. They talk all the time. He said the decision to suspend him came from above Jones in the organization.
Okay, Gary, thank you. We'll see you back in New York next week.
Okay, Chris.
And now let's go over to Lenny with some more inside information.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. The Jacksonville Jaguars coach Tom Coughlin has no idea who his quarterback will be for the next game Monday, September the 22nd against Pittsburgh. He said on Thursday Rob Johnson's high ankle sprain is in the worst possible place, and even if he plays, you'll still see effects of the injury. Coughlin also said Mark Brunell is coming along well. Brunell, who tore ligaments and was originally feared lost for the season, is ahead of schedule and may be ready in 2 or 3 weeks. New York Giants center Brian Williams, who is still experiencing double vision from being poked in the eye during training camp, will undergo surgery on Friday. Williams suffered a fracture to his right eye. No word yet on his return. Well, that's the future. Now let's turn back to the past, as this week Curt Gowdy profiles a former Baltimore Colts running back, Lydell Mitchell, who I played against in my later years. He's one of the outstanding players during the 70s.
Don't ever challenge Lydell Mitchell unless, of course, you want him to take you up on it. That's exactly what Penn State's coach Joe Paterno was banking on back in 1968.
Think about making 20 yards.
He came to see me the day before you signed a letter of intent. He finally said to me, "You don't want to go to Penn State. You can't play." I've always had that something that was inside me that pushed me and made me want to be the best. I got determined, and I just said to him, "You know, I'm coming to Penn State. I'm going to break all the records."
And he did. Teaming with Franco Harris, they formed one of the best backfields in college football history, losing a total of 4 games while there. And when he joined the aging Baltimore Colts in '72, the team struggled for 3 seasons. That's what made the 1975 campaign so special.
We started the year off 1-4. Said, well, here we go again. And all of a sudden, for no reason, the season just turned around. We started winning games. We started gelling. We started believing in each other. The miracle was that we won, and we went on to win our division.
Mitchell's silky smooth style led him to become one of the NFL's most consistent running backs. In 1977, he broke Lenny Moore's all-time leading rushing record for the Colts. He finished his career in San Diego, but has never called any other city his home.
Well, I never left, actually. I've always lived here. I've always lived in the city. I felt maybe a sense of obligation. I played for the Baltimore Colts, and I chose to live in the city and be part of the city.
Married and the father of 3 daughters, the 48-year-old Mitchell is making his impact felt in Baltimore.
More Paul sausages, Mom, please.
Just 1 year ago, Lydell and former college teammate Franco Harris salvaged a well-known local sausage company from bankruptcy.
We're not afraid to fail. We're up for the challenge. It's about getting out and getting that business inside here and making it happen. As you can see, this is a big facility. Now, it's our challenge and our task is to fill it. But if we don't get more business, then yes, it can fail.
The pressure and opportunity for Mitchell fuels him. He's relying on his quiet determination, self-discipline, and sense of pride to see him through. His hundreds of employees are certainly counting on him.
Yeah, it's a big family here. You know, you feel obligated to every single person downstairs. You want to keep people working. And if we're able to enhance people's lives, help them take care of their responsibilities, their families and everything, if you're able to put all those things together, I would rather be known for that as opposed to playing football.
For Lydell Mitchell, business isn't all that different from football. Sure, there are less cheers and fewer trumpets, But give him a challenge, and he'll still take the ball and run with it.
As a player, Lydell Mitchell showed great versatility. Great runner, pass receiver, and blocker, now in the business world showing versatility and helping the people in the Baltimore area. It's time for the pick segment, ladies and gentlemen. I wish there was a way to help Jerry Glenn.
Oh, Lydell.
I don't know if that's
Bring
a misprint from last week, 5 and 10.
I'll tell you what, Lenny, his stock is falling fast in the 29th crash.
Don't worry about it.
For this young season, it is very, very close. Now, all right, for this week's picks, 3 of us like the Ravens to win their first road game ever. Nick likes the Giants. Nick and I like Detroit to win in Soldier Field, but Chris and Jerry, they like the Bears. We all agree that San Francisco will get past New Orleans, especially with Steve Young being cleared to play. The Oakland Raiders will get past Atlanta for their first win. We all agree that St. Louis will have problems in Mile High Stadium. We like the Broncos. And 3 of us like Seattle to win their first game of the year, beating the Colts in Indianapolis, but Nick likes the Colts. Now for the rest of the games in more detail, we'll start with Nick. Nick, the first ever Arizona at Washington, playing in the new Jack Kent Cooke Stadium.
Well, I hope Gus Frerotte has a better game than he had last week. He threw 3 interceptions. The defense of Washington has given up over 400 yards rushing the last 2 ball games, but they're playing in a new stadium. I like Washington.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like the Arizona Cardinals for a big upset. I'll tell you why. Aeneas Williams having another all-pro year at corner. He'll shut down the pass. They got a new middle linebacker, Ron McKinnon, and he's going to shut down Terry Allen. Big upset, Arizona.
Do you guys ever wonder why he's so far under 500?
No.
Last week, the Redskins defense got hit by a bus. Jerome Bettis ran right through them. Leland McElroy is not Jerome Bettis. I like Washington.
You know, the Skins were in the red zone 4 times last week, came up with just 2 field goals. I like Arizona's defense. I like Arizona to win. Jerry, we got Buffalo at Kansas City.
The only way Kansas City can protect their quarterback, Elvis, and that's run the football. Run the football. They'll do that with Greg Hill. Big day. Kansas City wins at home.
They cannot protect their quarterback, Elvis Grbac. Bruce Smith, Bryce Pop, absolutely awesome a week ago, and this week it's Elvis's turn. I like the Buffalo Bills.
Well, let me tell you something. When the Chiefs defeated the Raiders on the last play of the game, it brought that team together, and they will be able to protect Elvis Grbac. You know, the Glenn Parker came in there, did an outstanding job last week. I look for the Chiefs to win.
Well, you know, Buffalo has Bruce Smith, and you can never say enough about Bruce Smith, probably the best defensive lineman ever to play. But this is the week that Antoine Smith, the running back, really breaks out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I like the Chiefs.
Next game, we got Carolina at San Diego, Chris.
You know, San Diego is simply a different football team when Junior Seau is in the game. Not just the defensive side where you would expect the difference, but offensively as well. He brings the emotion to that football team. I like the Chargers.
Well, you know, Berline is the quarterback, but he's just not been able to generate the offense. And when you lose Lamar Lathan, I really think that's a problem. I like San Diego.
San Diego? How can you like San Diego? They're so bad on offense. They're 29th in the league. Gary Brown can't run the football. Going against the Panther defense, you don't get well going against them. They didn't even give up a touchdown last week. Carolina's going to win this one on the road.
I don't believe that at all. I believe you guys, with Junior Seau playing, Lathan not playing, the Chargers will win this one. We've got Philadelphia at Dallas.
Well, you know, last week Dallas had 12 penalties, the most undisciplined I've seen them in a long time. Switzer said that's what cost them the game. They won't make that same mistake. I like Dallas.
Dallas. This is going to be a low-scoring game. Physical defense. Both defenses getting after
I
each
hope
other.
It takes Philly.
Here's what's going to happen. The #1 player in the game is going to be Richie Cunningham. No touchdowns. Going to kick field goals. Dallas wins.
Thank you. I was a little worried, weren't you? I talked to Jerry Jones this week. The only question, does Emmitt Smith play or not? He came back.
Oh, you talked to Jerry.
Well, you know, he talks to celebrities,
Jerry?
so do I do. So, but he says that Emmitt should be fine for this one. I like the Dallas Cowboys.
I talked to Nick Bonaconti this week, and he told me about this game. He says the Eagles have split the last 4 games with the Dallas Cowboys, but it will not happen this week. It is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. That's our show for this week. Remember, Inside the NFL premieres each Thursday evening at 11 p.m. If you miss any part of it, you can catch it again Fridays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m.